Which Busby Quint wants to be vegetarian? OutDaughtered. Kids reveal their favorite foods. Today we're talking about a small but very interesting moment from OutDaughtered that caught a lot of fans' attention, and that is the question everyone started asking online. Which Busby Quint wants to be vegetarian? On the surface, it might sound like a tiny detail, but when you really think about it, it opens up a bigger conversation about personality, family life, parenting, and how these 6 little girls are growing into their own people right in front of our eyes. OutDaughtered has always been more than just a reality show about a big family. It's about real-life moments, everyday decisions, and those surprising little statements kids make that leave parents both laughing and thinking at the same time. So, when one of the Busby Quints mentioned wanting to be vegetarian, fans immediately became curious. Was it a phase? Was it something she truly believed in? And how did Adam and Danielle handle it in a household where feeding 8 people is already a daily challenge? To understand why this moment stood out so much, you have to remember just how unique the Busby family situation is. Adam and Danielle Busby are parents to 6 daughters. Their oldest, Blake, and the famous quintuplets, Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Riley, and Parker. Every fan of the show knows that each of the Quints has a very distinct personality. Even though they're the same age, they couldn't be more different from one another. And that's exactly why a comment like wanting to be vegetarian feels so significant. It's a clear sign of individuality. From the very beginning of OutDaughtered, viewers have watched these girls grow from tiny newborns into opinionated, expressive kids. In the early seasons, the focus was mostly on survival, sleepless nights, bottles, diapers, and trying to keep everyone healthy. But as the seasons went on, the show slowly shifted toward personality development. We started seeing which girls were more outspoken, which were shy, which loved school, and which preferred to do things their own way. So when the vegetarian comment came up, it didn't feel random. It felt like one more example of a child discovering her voice. In the Busby household, food is a huge part of daily life. Danielle has often talked about how challenging it can be to plan meals that everyone will eat, especially with picky eaters in the mix. Anyone with kids knows that food preferences can change overnight. One day they love something, the next day they refuse to touch it. But choosing to be vegetarian is a little different from simply disliking broccoli or refusing to eat chicken nuggets. It suggests a reason, even if that reason is very simple or childlike. In the case of the Busby Quints, the idea of not wanting to eat meat sparked curiosity because it showed thoughtfulness. It showed that one of the girls was thinking about where food comes from and making a choice based on how she felt about it. Fans quickly identified that it was Hazel Busby who expressed interest in being vegetarian. Hazel has always stood out on the show in her own special way. From her red hair to her sweet personality, Hazel is often seen as the gentle, thoughtful one among the Quints. She's known for her big heart, her kindness, and her emotional awareness, even at a young age. When Hazel mentioned not wanting to eat meat, it fit perfectly with what fans already believed about her personality. Hazel has always been portrayed as sensitive and caring. She's the one who often shows empathy, who thinks deeply about things, and who sometimes needs a little extra reassurance. So the idea that she might feel uncomfortable eating animals didn't feel out of character at all. What made this moment even more relatable was the way it came across, not dramatic, not forced, just a simple statement from a child. Hazel didn't make a big announcement or demand special treatment. It was more of an innocent expression of how she felt. And that's often how these ideas begin for kids. They learn something new, connect it to their emotions, and suddenly their perspective changes. For Adam and Danielle, moments like this are both sweet and challenging. Parenting is all about balancing support with practicality. On one hand, you want to encourage your child to express herself and respect her feelings. On the other hand, you're managing a household with 6 kids, busy schedules, and limited time. Making separate meals for one child isn't always easy, especially when you're already stretched thin. OutDaughtered has always shown Adam and Danielle trying to find that balance. They're not perfect parents, and they don't pretend to be. They get overwhelmed, they make mistakes, and they learn as they go. That's one of the reasons viewers connect with them so strongly. They react the way most parents would, sometimes with humor, sometimes with confusion, and sometimes with genuine concern. When Hazel's vegetarian comment came up, it opened the door to conversation rather than conflict. Instead of shutting it down immediately, Adam and Danielle listened. They asked questions. They tried to understand where she was coming from. And that's an important parenting moment. Even if a child's preference doesn't last forever, the act of listening shows respect. It's also worth noting that kids often experiment with ideas as part of their development. Wanting to be vegetarian doesn't necessarily mean Hazel will never eat meat again. It could be a phase, or it could be the beginning of a lifelong choice. Either way, it reflects curiosity and moral thinking, which are both positive signs of growth. In the context of the Busby family, individuality is something that's always been encouraged. Despite having quintuplets who are often grouped together by the world, Adam and Danielle work hard to treat each child as her own person. They've talked openly about how important it is for the girls to feel seen and valued as individuals, not just a part of a set. That's why moments like this matter so much to fans. They show that even within a busy, chaotic household, there's room for personal expression. Hazel's interest in vegetarianism becomes a symbol of that individuality. It's a reminder that these girls are not just reality TV stars, they're real kids with real thoughts and feelings. Fans' reactions to this moment were overwhelmingly supportive. Many viewers shared their own stories of becoming vegetarian at a young age or having children who expressed similar feelings. Some people admitted they were surprised, while others said it made perfect sense given Hazel's personality. Social media discussions quickly turned into broader conversations about respecting children's choices and encouraging open dialogue at home. Of course, not everyone agreed. Some fans questioned whether a child that young could truly understand what being vegetarian means. Others worried about nutrition and whether such a diet would be healthy for a growing child. These concerns are valid, and they reflect real-world parenting debates that happen every day. The important thing is that OutDaughtered didn't turn this moment into a controversy. It was treated as what it really was, small, genuine expression from a child. The show didn't push an agenda or make a dramatic storyline out of it. Instead, it allowed viewers to see a natural parenting moment unfold. This is one of the strengths of OutDaughtered as a show. It captures everyday life without overproducing it. Viewers aren't watching actors follow script. They're watching a family navigate real situations. And sometimes, those situations are surprisingly deep, even when they start with something as simple as food preferences. Hazel's vegetarian comment also highlights how kids today are exposed to more information than ever before. Through books, school, and conversations at home, children learn about animals, the environment, and different lifestyles at a very young age. It's not unusual for them to start asking questions or forming opinions earlier than previous generations. In many ways, Hazel's curiosity reflects a broader cultural shift. More families are talking about where food comes from and making conscious choices about what they eat. Whether or not Hazel sticks with vegetarianism, the fact that she's thinking about it at all shows awareness. As the Busby girls continue to grow up, fans can expect to see more moments like this. More opinions, more preferences, and more individuality. That's the natural progression of childhood, and OutDaughtered gives viewers a front-row seat to it. Blake, the oldest, has already gone through many of these stages on the show. We've seen her develop her own interests, friendships, and opinions. Now, the Quints are following in her footsteps, each in their own unique way. Hazel's vegetarian interest is just one example of that process. Adam and Danielle have often said that one of their biggest goals as parents is to raise kind, confident, and independent daughters. Allowing them to express ideas, even ones that are inconvenient or unexpected, is part of that mission. It's not always easy, but it's meaningful. What makes Hazel's moment especially memorable is how relatable it is. Many parents watching the show could see their own children in her words. That's the magic of OutDaughtered. Bit turns small moments into shared experiences. At the end of the day, the question of which Busby Quint wants to be vegetarian isn't really about food. It's about growth, empathy, and self-expression. It's about a young girl learning to articulate how she feels and parents learning how to listen. Whether Hazel remains vegetarian or eventually changes her mind doesn't really matter. What matters is that she felt comfortable enough to speak up and that her parents took her seriously. That's a powerful message for families everywhere. As OutDaughtered continues, fans will no doubt keep watching closely, noticing these little details and celebrating the individuality of each Busby girl. Hazel's vegetarian curiosity will always be remembered as one of those moments that showed just how thoughtful and compassionate she is. And for viewers, it's a reminder that sometimes the smallest moments reveal the biggest truths about family, parenting, and growing up. OutDaughtered has always been about the chaos, the laughter, and the love, but it's also about these quiet, meaningful moments that stay with us long after the episode ends. So the next time you hear someone ask which Busby Quint wanted to be vegetarian, you'll know the answer. But more importantly, you'll understand why that simple question captured so. Continuing from the first part, let's dive deeper into how Hazel's interest in becoming vegetarian fits into the bigger picture of growing up in the Busby family and what it says about childhood development and family dynamics. Hazel's choice, even if still young and possibly a passing phase, is emblematic of a larger trend among children today. The kids are learning about sustainability, animals, and the ethical implications of their choices earlier than ever. Social media, school discussions, and family conversations expose them to new ideas that previous generations might not have encountered until later in life. In Hazel's case, her decision to explore vegetarianism shows a remarkable level of awareness and empathy. It's one thing to dislike certain foods. It's another to form a belief system around it, however nascent it might be. Adam and Danielle have always emphasized individuality among their daughters. While the quintuplets share the same birthday and have many similarities, the parents strive to nurture each child's unique voice. Hazel expressing a desire to avoid meat is a perfect example of this philosophy in action. It's not about spotlighting differences for drama. It's about allowing each child to grow, learn, and express themselves authentically. For parents watching, Hazel's experience serves as both inspiration and guidance. Parenting multiple children often involves juggling practical realities with personal beliefs. Adam and Danielle demonstrate that listening, understanding, and gently guiding a child is more effective than dismissing or dictating. They balance the logistics of meal planning with the respect for a child's emerging convictions, which is a crucial lesson for any family navigating similar conversations. Fans of the show quickly connected with Hazel's moment. Social media was abuzz with supportive comments, stories from parents about their own children's dietary preferences, and discussions about raising children with respect for their choices. Many people saw Hazel's statement as a reflection of her growing independence and critical thinking skills, reinforcing the idea that even young children can have meaningful beliefs that deserve attention. The conversation around Hazel also touches on nutrition and health considerations. For young children, ensuring a balanced diet is essential. Adam and Danielle, along with many fans and nutritionists, recognize that vegetarianism can be healthy if carefully planned. This opens another layer of dialogue: how parents adapt, learn, and manage their children's evolving preferences while maintaining nutritional balance. It's also fascinating to consider how each Busby Quint might develop her own beliefs, interests, and moral compass over time. Just as Hazel is showing curiosity and empathy, her sisters are carving out their own spaces in the family ecosystem. Ava might have a different hobby, Riley might take the lead in playful mischief, and Olivia may show a passion for art or animals. Each choice, each preference, is a reflection of their individuality, and Hazel's vegetarian interest is simply a highlight of this developmental process. From a storytelling perspective, moments like these are golden for OutDaughtered. They capture real-life experiences without forcing drama or manufactured conflict. Viewers aren't just watching children grow, they're watching authentic personality and moral development unfold. Hazel's vegetarian comment becomes a lens to observe how children negotiate personal identity, family expectations, and broader societal ideas, all within the safety of their loving household. Moreover, it reinforces the core theme of the show: parenting is both challenging and rewarding. The Busbys face the logistical challenges of feeding a large family, balancing schedules, and addressing the emotional needs of each child. Yet, they also experience the joy of witnessing individuality and growth, from small statements like Hazel's to bigger milestones as the girls age. The show captures this duality perfectly, highlighting both everyday realities and the more profound moments that define family life. For viewers, Hazel's decision is both relatable and aspirational. Many families deal with similar situations, children expressing preferences that require adjustments, parents learning to balance practicality with respect, and siblings navigating differences. OutDaughtered presents these scenarios in a relatable, real-life context, allowing fans to reflect on their own family dynamics while enjoying the charm and personality of the Busby girls. Finally, Hazel's vegetarian interest may seem minor in the grand scheme, but it's emblematic of something far larger: the evolution of children as individuals and the importance of nurturing that individuality. Whether Hazel remains vegetarian or not, the act of expressing herself and being listened to is the real story. It reflects a parenting approach rooted in respect, patience, and love, which resonates deeply with viewers. As the seasons progress, moments like these will continue to showcase the depth of character within the Busby quintuplets. Hazel's curiosity and compassion set an example of thoughtful decision-making, empathy, and personal growth. For fans, it's a reminder that even the smallest, most innocent statements from a child can reveal layers of personality and spark meaningful conversations. Hazel wanting to be vegetarian isn't just about food, it's about finding a voice, expressing individuality, and being supported in that choice by loving parents. In conclusion, the question of which Busby Quint wants to be vegetarian has a much richer answer than simply naming Hazel. It's about recognizing the nuances of personality, the challenges and joys of parenting, and the beauty of watching children develop their own identities. Hazel's interest opens a window into how children engage with the world, make decisions based on their feelings, and begin to define themselves in a complex world. It's these moments that make OutDaughtered more than a reality show. They make it a mirror into family life, individuality, and the extraordinary